your partner for ignition, diesel cold start, electronics and sensorics.
A very big welcome to the FIA World Touring Car Championship qualifying session for round 3 and 4 from Magny-Cours in the Nevers region of France. But the only French driver in the championship, Yvan Muller, who leads after the first 2 rounds at Monza, must at least be the crowd favourite. It's another Muller who perhaps has the best chance of winning. Yes, Jörg Muller of the BMW team starts with the advantage of no success balance on his car. His Monza was best forgotten, but his experience of 4 wins out of the last 6 FIA touring car races, well, that should put him in very good stead. David Leslie with me. No BMW in the top 10 of the second races. Andy Priaulx had a 140-mile-an-hour smash, but it will be BMW wanting to come back here on a circuit where BMW have won the last six of these touring car races.
That's right, this circuit in France at Magny-Cours is a circuit BMW do very well at. Yes, they had a very unfortunate second race at Monza where most of the cars crashed out one way or another. But here we see them now setting off out of the pit lane onto the circuit for the first time for their qualifying. Now this car, Tom Cornell's car, went very well in practice indeed. It was right up there, second fastest one of the free practice sessions this morning. But you can see some of the cars still sitting in the pit lane. What they'll do is they'll wait until the majority of cars have gone out onto the circuit, and they'll try and find themselves a bit of clear space before they go out onto the circuit to try and do some nice quick laps. And these guys are going to be, trying to get their laps in fairly early on.
Let me ask you a question quickly. If David Leslie was driving there and it's a circuit that you know, what would your preference be? At that BMW, won the last 6 there. I imagine it's BMW, but see it are starting to mount a serious challenge.
See it becoming last couple of years and been winning races lately, and you have to say they really are on top at the moment. They're leading the Manufacturers' Championship, something they've never done before, and that I think is a bit to BMW discussed after the Monza event. So see it, feel that they're on a roll, feel that they want to win and on top of the world, but BMW really want to do come back. Of the other manufacturers involved, you've got Chevrolet we're looking at now with this aluminium.
First time they've been on a podium. They got to the podium, he got there in 3rd place in the second race. Well done to him, carrying weight here though.
Yes, he knows there's going to be a problem. He feels that he won't do so well this weekend with the weight he's carrying, and therefore he'll drop back a little bit, and hopefully he'll go to Brands Hatch, a circuit he knows very well, for their 3rd meeting of the season with no weight on at all, and that's what he's really looking for. So he'll be doing his best, but he realises life is going to be very difficult for him this weekend.
A word on Robert Huff. I mean, he's not carrying weight here, and he's going to be trying to carry that Chevrolet flag.
Yes, Rob's always very quick. He's right up there with all the other 2 drivers. Remember, Rob's a young driver in the team. You've got Nicola Larini and you've got Alan Menu, obviously very well-known drivers, and these guys, Rob Huff looks up to, but he has been tearing them apart. He has really been very quick.
And there's one man who's really starting to chuck it around already. Jörg Muller. He's won here on 4 occasions out of the last 6. BMW having taken all 6 of them. No weight on his car. He had an absolute disaster in the first 2 rounds, but this is a man who must fancy this one.
Yes, he does. They've been quick. They've always been quick, the Works BMWs, the Schnitzer run BMWs, number 42 and number 43 Jürgen, 42 Dirk in 43. And you have to say that they're going to be right on the ball this weekend. They really want to make up for the loss of points in Monza.
Talk to us on the use of the curbs there. I see he's very much in the chicane there. Used all of those curbs. Now, I know some of the teams were thinking of going to the Hungaro ring to have a look at, because of similar type of curbage there. How much do they need to use these curbs at this circuit?
Most of the curbs around the circuit here at Magny-Cours are flat. As you can see, they're running off on the outside, coming out onto that back straight, and they tend to be very easy to use. The chicane just before the start and finish is very high. It's there to stop people cutting the corner just before the start and finish. And what Muller was doing there was trying to get a very quick start to the lap to try and get a good lap in quite early on in this session.
Well, while we're looking at his BMW, what did go wrong for BMW at Monza? You were there.
Well, they had a very good first race because Andy Priaulx won the first race. Everything was really looking good for them, but unfortunately in the second race there was a lot of carnage, there was a lot of accident damage, and somehow or another most of the BMW drivers seemed to end up in that accident damage. So it wasn't as though there was a problem with the car, it wasn't a problem with the handling. The cars were quick, they were right up there, but unfortunately they kept having accidents. We can see Jörg now has aborted this particular lap. He got a big slide on, he was late into the Adelaide hairpin, we've seen that, and he was late into the corner immediately after that, the 180-degree corner. So he's decided to give this lap a miss, and he'll back off, watch the Seat in front, and then try and have another go.
I'm looking at the times there of that man, Tom Coronel, the Seat Toledo Cupra. He in fact was second quickest, the independent driver now, of course, with that Seat. He was second fastest behind Jörg Müller in the second pre-practice session. So Tom Coronel, clearly a man who wants to be on a move. Another man who did not have a particularly good, well, in fact by his standards, a pretty poor Monza.
That's right, he just unfortunately had not good finishes, but he is quick, he always has been quick. You see Rydell there driving through some smoke, and educated guess somebody's probably had a bit of a spin there, and that's what generates that white smoke usually.
He had a spin himself, didn't he, at Monza, did Rydell. Finished sixth in the first race. He's carrying 10 kilos of weight, and a man who will clearly want to go rather quicker than his 22nd finish, which was caused by that spin, or had been higher up in the championship, some way higher up.
That's right. You see now the BMW's coming into the pits to a bit of work onto their
And we're looking at the timing device here that is showing us, and we haven't got the benefit of that working at the moment. We'll try and get that to you as soon as we possibly can. James Thompson there. He, of course, was in the middle of that incident, wasn't he? They went down inside and outside him. It was Dirk Muller on one side, Alain Priaulx on the other side, and that is where the accident happened, wasn't it? But Thompson managed to continue.
That was an accident at Monza where he took out two of the BMWs, but did leave the Seat of James Thompson carrying on. But there we see the times now so far. Jordi Genet was first in with a good time on a 150, and that's a very good time because in the free practice they've been doing a 149 or a 150, a high 149, low 150.
So there we are, Terting, who was fastest in the second of the pre-practice sessions. He's up there, the German driver. Robert Huff going well at the moment, just 0.927 off the pole time at the moment, but it's Jordi Genet winding his way for the twists and turns. Quite an undulating circuit here. Technical circuit, David?
It's a very technical circuit. It's very fast in certain places, but you've got one hairpin, two chicanes, and a very tight corner before the start and finish, and those bits make it very difficult. It's not so much uphill, downhill. There is a little bit of undulation, a little bit of rise, a little bit of a drop, and you can see this now coming into the pits. In actual fact, had he turned right there, he'd been going into the last corner, but Genet's decided he's done a lap time on the set of tyres that he's got. He'll come into the pits. The scrutineers have said, we would like to have a word with you, want you to drive into this little box till we check your car over and make sure it's okay.
And that's Simon Iaconi out there. He went particularly well. He's lying second in the independent championship. Finished with a 16th, 11th, or a 4th and a 2nd, whichever way you look at it. But on that occasion, well, he's going to doing a bit of sand racing there.
Yes, that was well off the circuit. It really did carry too much speed into that corner. And it's a corner that's nearly flat out, and I think he's just turned a little bit too late, got a slide on, he went off to the outside. You can see how big that gravel trap was. It allowed him to go a long way off without actually hitting anything and then come back on. But that certainly ruined a set of tyres for him.
Yeah, talking of tyres here, tyres all important in this one, and they get a fair few to throw at each race. It's 16 per race, isn't it?
It is. Of that 16, 12 are new and 4 will be carried over from the previous event. So that's what they've got to work with. So they've got a limited number of tyres to work with, and certainly in the free practices so far they will have been using their older tyres, and now it's come to the official qualifying session, the new tyres will have been bolted on, and depending upon the different teams and different drivers, they'll be working out exactly how they want to use it. There's
the championship leader carrying 65 kilos of success ballast. My goodness, you want to carry the ballast in a way because you want to be up there having been victorious. In another way, you'd rather get rid of it.
It's a balancing act. You've got to work out how well you can do with the weight that you've got. But if you're carrying 65 kilos, that is the maximum weight this weekend, and you have to say that that will hold him back a little bit.
Yeah, courtesy of 2 second place. You would hardly have marked him down. It's the first real time that he's got into a whole season in this championship, isn't it? You wouldn't have marked him down as the most likely man to come out of the first 2 rounds ahead of the championship, would you?
Well, he's new to the championship, so no one was expecting him to be leading the championship on his first attempt at the championship. He came from the British Touring Car Championship, and now he's in the World Touring Car Championship. And doing extremely well, better than a lot of people expected. There's Richard Rydell using a bit too much speed out of one of the chicanes.
Well, that's ruined that lap for him anyway.
He's run right off the circuit, but yes, he's given that lap up completely.
I think it's given him up as well. But then I'm Jordi Genet inside there now, and they're having a quick look, a quick examination, checking those pressures on the tyres as well. But I think that the second part of this session is going to hot up. Rydell now second quickest, Dirk Mueller's up there as well, and Ivan Mueller in 5th fastest so far, Rangoni in 6th fastest. There's a lot more to come on this one, and I think the last few seconds are going to be pretty special.
Yes, you can see now the time's changing already. The times are changing constantly.
And we'll be back for the second part of qualifying in just a moment. And what impeccable timing. It's the timing of Andy Priaulx, who's just done a 1:56.99. Well, he might be carrying some 45 kgs of weight, but the man who's twice won this FIA championship, he wants to win it again and get that world title again. He's the current world champion, of course. Well, he's right up there at the moment. So Andy Priaulx really going for it. That's got to be a little bit of a surprise, David Leslie. 45 kilos of weight should be making a fair amount of difference.
Andy's always been able to carry the weight. He has a nice brand new 150.5. There we are. That's his best lap. He's not actually quite quickest at the moment. The quickest is still Jordi Genet on a 50.1. But Andy has got a brand new car this weekend. Because of the accident at Monza, it was going to take too long to repair that car, so what they did is they built the engine, his engine from Monza, into a brand new car. He's been out and done some testing this week to try and make sure that car works. There we see just before the start and finish, he's leaping over those curbs there. But Andy's always been able to arrive at a race circuit with whatever weight he's had, because he's always been at the top of the championship for quite some time now, and he carries that weight very well when it comes to qualifying.
Well, for people who are watching this for the first time, just explain to us, David, because it isn't the easiest thing to understand. He totaled the car, be it but the engine, in that 140-mile-an-hour prang. Now, if they hadn't been able to salvage the engine, he would have had to start wherever he qualifies here, 10 places back. Why is that?
Because in the rules and regulations, they try and keep the cost down. They make the engines last for 2 races, and the engines have to last for 2 races, for 2 meetings, sorry, because you've got 2 races each meeting. And if you don't last for 2 meetings, they give you a penalty.
Carry Soli just a bit of sand tracking there.
We look at a lot of gravel trap there. So if you don't carry your engine forward for 2 meetings, you get a penalty, because then you have a nice fresh engine for the second meeting. So you have a penalty implied. That penalty is 10 places on the grid. So they were able to salvage his engine from the accident damaged car at Monza, put it into this brand new chassis he's got this weekend, and he's out there. So what we've got at the moment is Jordi Genet quickest with a C at Lyon, Rydell second, Terting in a Lyon, Thompson in a Lyon, Tarquini in a Lyon,
and Priaulx at 7th at the moment.
Cornell with a C at Toledo. Top 6 places are all Seat cars. The first BMW is Andy Priaulx. Next up, Dirk Muller with the BMW. Next up, Ivan Muller with the 65 kilos running at a Seat Lyon. And really, Seat are pushing hard this weekend.
York Muller at the moment. That screen you've got in front of you, where is he showing? He went into the pit area a little bit earlier on. He went back.
He's only done 3 laps.
He's got a problem.
He's got a major problem. He's still in the pits.
He's got a problem. And looking at the message we were getting before from the BMW pits was that Priaulx was the quickest, and not the quickest on the screen. But we're looking out now, and you can see the pictures that we have as well.
That's Jörg Müller. He's out there now trying to put a difference to his time. He's obviously spent a long time in the pits trying to sort a problem out. We've seen earlier on with the bonnet top and the guys in the engine compartment trying to solve a problem.
Well, he had no problem when he went out in the free practice session, so that must have occurred in very, very early lapry, or he must have discovered something that he felt that by going in he could get a lot quicker. He needs to.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. You know, you don't become a works BMW driver and not be somewhere near the front of a World Touring Car qualifying period.
Zanardi now the fastest of the BMWs. It reads Seat before it gets to 6th and Zanardi. And it's Jordi Gene from Ricard Rydell up there at the moment. Terting in 3rd. Thompson just moved into 4th of those Seats. And Tarquini at the moment, he is the 5th fastest. And Zanardi, fellow Italian there with the BMW, he's currently 6th quickest.
And there you see the BMW there jumping over the curbs towards the end of that lap to try and get the quickest possible time. We see really wide on the turn into this very fast first corner. Almost, there we are, that's where Jürgen Müller is, 150.2. And that will put him up into the 2nd row of the grid in 4th place. So whatever problem it was, he's been quite happy. There's Charlie Lamb watching his driver having fixed the car, gone out there and done what he wanted. Doesn't smile very much, does smile now and again, does Charlie, but there we see the times. Jordi Gene, Rick Rydell, Peter Terting with the Seats.
Yeah, what's happened there actually, David, is just as you were speaking, then there was a couple of even quicker ones. They came through, and that's put him back to 4th fastest, but it certainly looks an awful lot better than it did a few minutes ago. Müller, of course, Jörg Müller of that variety of Müller, with no weight on at all. That has to make a big difference now.
And the weight always makes a big difference. If you're thinking about the guys carrying mostly Van Müller, who's got 65 kilos, then that's the weight of some of these drivers, because you know, it's like having another person sitting beside you, and if you put somebody else in a car, that is a lot of weight to be carrying, and that 65 kilos is going to be dragged around, it's going to be accelerated out of a corner, and it's going to be braked into a corner, because as you come along this straight here, we're watching the BMW now with Zanardi. When they get to the end of this straight, you're coming to the hairpin, and that really is a very, very tight hairpin indeed, the Adelaide hairpin. You can see him now, they're braking very late, got to get it stopped into that tight hairpin, really tight, up over the curb, accelerating hard out of there. You've got to carry that weight out of there, up that slight rise into the next chicane.
And looking at the top 8 at the moment, just 2 BMWs in there, and it's virtually a total colouring of Seat on the board that we're looking at the moment. Tom Coronel, the independent, up there as well. He is the 8th quickest with the Seat, and only Zanardi currently in 7th quickest, and Jörg Müller, who's currently 4th fastest. The only 2 BMWs in the middle of a whole pile of Seat sandwiches there. And then looking at Prio at the moment, he is carrying 45 kilos of weight, and he's 9th fastest, so 3 BMWs in the top 10. Quickest of the Chevrolets at the moment is Larini, he's in 10th fastest, and 2nd of the quickest of the Chevrolets is Huff, who's 11th.
Yeah, that's right, we're seeing now the Alfa Romeo's. Gianni Morbidelli was at Alfa Romeo. They really have been struggling here this weekend. We're not sure why. They were very quick when they were at Monza, and Farfus managed to win a race. But they really are struggling here. They're the fastest of the Alfa Romeos is down in 16th place. That's a long way down for these cars. These cars
that's
been around a long
Farfus,
time.
Yeah, and you would have expected him perhaps to go better than that. He is, of course, carrying 55 kilos away. Winner of the 2nd race. Remember the excitement that you'll see later. This is coming up tomorrow, of course, with the first 8 in the first race after they go to Parc Fermé, where not too much, if anything, can be done to their cars at all, except for just a few minutes before they go back on the track. The 2nd race they reverse the grid, which makes it even harder to do, so the winner of the first race starts at 8. That's what Farfus did, and he finished in 1st place in the 2nd race. The winner of the first race at Monza, and Prio, of course, had that big crash. So here's Morbidelli, his best lap so far, 151.158, which is certainly not going to be good enough for, where will that put him? He's about 18th, 18th quickest so far, so he's got a bit to do, and working very hard to try and do that bit as well, David.
To try and show you just how close these cars actually are, the first 14 cars that are out there are all within 1 second of each other. That's 14 cars within 1 second. That is a very, very closely fought championship. Jürgen Müller's managed to stay in 4th place. He's the only BMW splitting up the Seats. The Seats, other than that, are all around him. You've now got Terting. Terting's now managed to go quicker than Jordi Gene.
Well, Terting was the quickest in the first practice session of the pre-practice sessions this morning, so he clearly fancies getting it on here. He had another with an absolutely awful Monza. And we're looking now at Terting, who's quickest at 49 points, so inside the 150 it's gone now. Jordi Gene in 2nd fastest so far. Jörg Müller, as we heard before, 4th fastest. fastest. British name coming onto the leaderboard there, and he was in 5th fastest. So James Thompson on the move now, 5th quickest.
And as we are talking, times are really starting to change. Some of the drivers obviously been in, bolted on some more new tyres, and it's changing very quickly. Now we've got Dirk Muller, who's managed to move up to 2nd place with the BMW. Genet in 3rd, Rydell in 4th with the Seats. Jörg Muller in 5th with his BMW. Thompson, Tarquini with their Seats in 6th and 7th. And then now up into 8th overall is Rangoni with a privateer BMW, so he's now the lead privateer car.
Dirk Muller, question there, he had was the other part of that shunt we mentioned before, Prio, 140 mile an hour shunt. The Prio's engine was saved. Did Dirk Muller manage to save the engine, or was that car totaled?
The car again was badly damaged, but yes, he saved the engine as well.
So again, he hasn't had that problem of where he qualifies, he doesn't have to drop back to 10 places.
No, he won't be dropping back to 10 places.
So the Turting still with the Seat, the fastest man out there at the moment, the only one inside 1 minute 50, 1 minute 49.949. Then Dirk Muller with the BMW, then 2 more Seats, Jordi Genet and Ricky Rydell, before we have James Thompson with another Seat. That's just after Jörg Muller, who's 5th fastest at the moment. And looking at Tom Coronel up there, very healthy position for he, as Tarquini now takes the honours with a 49.306. It's getting quicker and quicker.
That really is very quick indeed. Ness, Gabriel Tarquini in the Seat. Well, remember, he was a guy who's been racing for Alfa Romeo for a number of years. He changed beginning of this year to the Seat team when Alfa Romeo decided to pull out as a works entered team, and he joined Seat here. Very good move, you can see at the moment. There we are, Tarquini Turting with the Seats 1st and 2nd, Muller 3rd, Jordi Genet with the Seat, Rydell with the Seat, and Jörg Muller with the BMW in 6th place.
Tarquini defying the weight then, David, because he's carrying some 30 kilos, the man who finished 4th in the championship last season. And I was reading 1 or 2 quotes of drivers saying all you need to do is to keep on finishing in the top 4 or 5. Well, he finished 5th in both of the races at Monza, and he's looking very, very strong indeed despite carrying that weight. Turting 2nd fastest, and Dirk Muller now 3rd fastest. Prio has moved up, the man looking for a 3rd title this season. Andy Prio has moved up now to 4th place despite carrying his 45 kilos of weight. But it is looking a little bit astonishing further down when you look to the Alfa Romeos, etc. Farper's now down as 18th quickest, and in fact it's Tabano, the fastest of the Alfa Romeos, 16th quickest.
That's right, and the times really are starting to fall down a little bit now, with Tarquini setting that time of a 1 minute 49.3 seconds. He really sort of lumped about 6/10 of a second off everybody else at that point. And you've got Turting also in the 49s. They're the only 2 guys in under 1 minute 50 seconds going around this 4.4 kilometre circuit here at Magny-Cours.
If you are Jörg Muller now, you won't be happy looking at that screen, will you? He's back in the pits, 7th quickest at the moment. He will have hoped for better than that.
Yes, I'm sure he would, but you have to say that, it is so very close. That's what we've seen in the championship in the first 2 rounds at Monza. So very, very close indeed. And when you're 7th, you are not far away on time from where the guy is at the front. The guy at the front really has got the big jump at the moment. He's the one that's 6/10 ahead of everybody else with Gabriel Tarquini. So I'm sure, having set that time, he's come in and parked it inside the garage, and he'll just leave it there now until the end of the session.
So that's it as far as he's concerned, you think?
I think with that time, he's not going to be able to beat that time again, so he'll be quite happy to park the car up. But here we see an onboard from the BMW, and that looks as though they're going to be Jörg Muller. He's lining himself up for a quick lap. I would say he's on a warm-up lap at the moment as he's going round, and when he gets round to the start and finish, he'll be really ready to rock it as he goes across the line and putting in a banzai lap to try and get a little bit further up the grid.
You use the word banzai. What's the mindset when you're coming into the last couple of corners when you're going for a flyer?
You really have to be very, very determined. Brake as late as possible. Make sure you get the car into the pits. There's Tarquini's car. It's in there. You see the engineer. He brought his engineer with him from Alfa Romeo, and you can see them there taking the wheels off, and they're just going to sit and talk and look after that car now till the end of the session. There's not many minutes now left till the end of the session.
He's a happy man.
I would say he's a happy man. Here we are. There's Jörg Muller now coming to line himself up before he comes out. He'll come to the chicane, into the throttle now, out of there as quickly as possible, get a nice line flying out of that chicane. That's him starting his timed lap. At the end of this lap, we'll see whether he's been able to move himself further up or not.
He's got to beat 1:49.306 if he wants to get into the pole position. His best time, as you see on the screen at the moment, 1:50.218, so he's got a little bit to do. It's the second time he's been in the pit before he started his assault on this one, and he's aware, isn't he, at the various parts of the circuit, if he's beating what he's done before. Does the computer tell him that? Will the team be able to tell him that as well?
There is. The team will be able to tell him because they have data coming back to them from the timing screens, and there are 2 cut-off points, and he's just passed one of them now. Just before the Adelaide hairpin, there's a cut-off point that says what the first sector time is, and then there's a second sector time further round. So the team will be able to say to him, you're up, you're down, you're on board, you've got a good chance of getting there.
It looks like just another day at the office. You see that shifting up there, it's getting up near the traffic light, shifting up.
But these guys, they are good. That's why they are where they are. That's why they're the works BMW drivers. They are relaxed. They know what to do. They've spent so many laps.
You're moving your hands when you're talking to me faster than he was moving his hands then.
But they know these cars inside out. They are so comfortable with the cars. They know exactly what to do. There you can see him. He moves the car around. He's got a good grip of that steering wheel. He's arriving at the chicane. He'll run over the 2 curbs, use all the road on the outside. That car is sliding. It's got a lot of oversteer. And I'm sure it's got a lot more oversteer than he wants. And I don't think this lap will give him what he wants.
And I'm looking at Tarquini's time there. That's 1:49.3 to beat. There's only 3 drivers. Turting has gone under the 150 as well. So it reads Seat, Seat, Seat. There must be some very big smiles on the Seat team manager's face at the moment.
I'm sure there will be, and you can see now coming to the end of this lap, see how he jumps that over the curbs as he's pushing it through there. But we know that Rydell has gone up there, and Genet have now broken into the 49s as well.
So it reads Seat, 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 Seat. Muller's got in there, 49.555. That's put him into second place. A worthwhile run that was. That was a worthwhile run. Nearly snatched it, but he's finished in qualifying. It looks like exactly at the moment in the same place he finished in qualifying at Monza.
Yeah, that's right, but I was surprised he managed to do that because the car was sliding a lot more than I was expecting. And I wasn't expecting to get quite as good a time as he did there, but that's good.
This far, this is even bigger problems now.
And he's hit something at the front. You can see he's gone off. There he is. He's gone hurtling across all the gravel, and I think he's gone off there at a lot of speed. The spoiler's been hit and folded down underneath the car, and that's that gone. So the Seat's now coming and parking up. That's Peter Turting. He won't have time to go back out again to try another one.
At one stage he looked a lot better. He was 5th fastest, but at least Jörg Müller has put the BMW up there. I mean, that's split up a few Seats, but it does read like a seat of Seats. A seat of Seats. Even a mob of Seats, call them what you like, but there's Seat at the moment with Tarquini at the top. Then it's Jörg Müller. Then Rydell, Jordi Genet, Turting there in 5th quickest at the moment. Dirk Müller with the BMW in 6th. Andy Cleo 7th fastest. Still cars out on the circuit at the moment. There's 2 minutes and 20 seconds left of this, so it still could happen. And we're looking now
at car number 8,
Alain Menu.
Yeah, this is one of the cars, the Chevrolet Lancieti. Larini, who's driving that car number 7, who's out there. He, in actual fact, is the highest of the Chevrolets at the moment, and he's in 9th place. And that's good because he's right in amongst the BMWs and the Seats, so that's very good for Chevrolet.
16th, and the car we're looking at, Alain Menu at 16th place at the moment. He, of course, carrying weight, and that was a concern of theirs. He says he's hoping very much that he might be able to finish just outside any weight carrying position and take that advantage with him to Brands Hatch of not having the weight on.
That's right, because he knows the next meeting at Brands Hatch. He knows the circuit very well, probably better than most of the other people on the World Touring Car Championship grid, and that's what he'll be looking for. But he knows he's got to carry that weight. He's inch perfect there, just catching the curb as he goes across, using right to the outside over the 2 curbs to get the speed out across the line to see what sort of time he can turn in just before the end of the session.
5 drivers then under 1:59. They are Tarquini quickest at the moment, Jörg Müller, then Ricard Rydell, Genet and Turting, looking to see if there is another change there. No, at the moment Dirk Müller just outside at 50.027, so 5 inside 1:49. 4 of them are Seats, 1 of them second quickest is the French, is in fact Jörg Müller there, and the German Jörg Müller there, who has just 2/10 of a second off of the pole time at the moment.
And it's certainly the people that are still on the circuit at the moment that are putting in the times. All the times really are coming. Alan Menu did manage to improve his position. He's up to 13th overall, and we see James Thompson now just crossing the line. And in a couple of minutes we'll find out exactly what his time was when he came across them. There's a double waved yellow flag coming into that first corner. Now, in theory, you should not be able to set your fastest lap during a yellow flag period, when there's a yellow flag out there. And the yellow flag's there because of Augusto Favas, who went off on the gravel trap and he stopped just before he came back onto the circuit. So there's a pat on the back for Jörg Müller.
Well, he's a pat not for being second, because Rydell has leapt over him, and he's moved to second quickest. Müller at the moment will have to be satisfied with third fastest. I'm looking at the man that all the French will want to go well here, the current championship leader, and that of course is Yvan Müller. He's 12th quickest at the moment.
And there's the checkered flag just being waved, so all these guys are on their lap now. They'll be able to finish this lap, and whatever time they do on this lap, that lap time will count if they're on a quick lap. If not, they'll just be taking their time and coming back into the pits. So getting towards the end of it now, we've only got about a minute's worth of running where people can still set times before it will be fairly set in stone for the racing here at Magny-Cours. But there we are.
And fans of Alan Preer will know that, or will need to know that he, in fact, so far is ninth at the moment. Looking up there at the BMWs, then there's just the one in the top five, and that is Jürgen Müller, which he expected. At one stage he got as high as second quickest. Mind you, Dirk Müller was at second quickest at one stage in the session, but he has to be satisfied, we think, with sixth fastest, and just behind him, seventh quickest is Zanardi. Tom Coronel, the privateer in this, with the Seat, is eighth quickest. We have the other BMW in the top 10, Andy Priaulx in ninth fastest. James Thompson with the Seat there completes the top 10, and he, in fact, is in 10th fastest. So I'm just looking at what splits the first 10. Can you see that, David? It's just about a second.
The first 13 are all covered by less than 1 second.
Less than 1 second, as he said, for the first 13. And there's a man who no doubt is very happy indeed. So the quickest man in qualifying, starting pole position, man who finished fourth in the championship and fifth in the last two races at Monza, Gabriele Tarquini, a man carrying 30 kilos of weight. Wonder what that weighs, what they're carrying.
It doesn't weigh very much. I had a look at one, and the front cars now are all made of carbon. Those bumpers are made of carbon fibre, and then we see Tavano off in the gravel as well. So that's two of the three works Alfa Romeos sitting in the gravel at the end of the session, and Alfa Romeo are not going to be happy about that. They're obviously having to push very hard because they certainly haven't been able to do the times.
You know that part of the circuit we just looked at there, do you, David? You've been off there?
I try very hard not to fall off at all, actually.
Whereas the Barbas did, and not a happy qualifying session for him, but a lot of time to go. But a very, very happy time for this fellow.
Yeah, very happy time for Gabriele Tarquini, and he did do the time earlier on, came in and packed it up. There we see the top six.
It just shows you how close it is, isn't it?
There's four Seats, two BMWs in the top six. You got both the works BMWs, Jörg Müller and Dirk Müller, in there in third and sixth place, and very, very close indeed.
Now, I asked you before all this started if David Leslie could pick a car to be in this weekend, see it for the first time on top of the manufacturer's pile. Well, on top of the qualifying leaderboard, you said BMW.
Well, BMW in the past have always managed to do well and win at this circuit, but I think they're struggling a little bit at the moment compared to the Seat. The Seat was quick at Monza, and it's certainly very quick here as well. The Seat has a good chassis, maybe not quite as quick in a straight line. With the flat floor they've got now, then it seems to have made that big difference. Well,
very shortly we should be able to hear with the man who's got pole position, Gabriele Tarquini. Very positive drive from him. Rydell just 2 tenths, just a little bit more than 2 tenths, 2.5 tenths, 0.248 if you like making precise notes, and that only 1/100th of a second faster than the time of the BMW of Jörg Müller.
It's actually 1/1000th of a second.
It's 1/1000th of a second. Well,
yeah.
Thanks for the mathematics, David. You know, the Scottish schooling good nowadays, is it?
It is.
Here we are. Here's the first interview.
Gabriele Tarquini, congratulations, pole position here in Magny-Cours. What do you think about that? I'm very happy because I have something to dedicate to my little boy born 1 week ago. So I'm not really sure about the performance in race, but I was really optimistic after the free practice this morning to score the pole position, and also with 30 kilo ballast more than the others, I was very fast. I was really surprised about time lap.
You have managed to break the domination of the BMW here in Magny-Cours now, 2 Seats at top.
Yeah, but in the race will be a different story, I think, because they save tire wear in the BMW is very good, and I don't know, maybe with this temperature our car seems very good in this track, especially after the test this morning. So I'm still optimistic, but I don't know if the performance of our car is enough to beat the BMW in race.
Thank you very much.
Gabriel is obviously having a very good year this year, and he turned 44 only earlier on this month on the 2nd of March.
He didn't say how much his baby weighed, though, did he?
No, he didn't.
He just referred to the 30 kilos he was carrying.
No, he's a very, very happy man at the moment, being on pole position. But he did say that in the race itself, he knows how difficult it's going to be to try and beat the BMW in the race situation. Qualifying in a one-lap situation is one thing, but to be able to go out there and actually do it over the 9 laps of the race is going to be a little bit more difficult.
You're just supporting the fact that you said if you'd had the choice today, it would be in a BMW, and you're standing by that even though you're beaten in qualifying.
I think overall for the race situation, yes, I'd still like to be in a BMW, but here we now see the Alfa Romeos being towed back. That looks like Farfus's car with the front bumper missing being towed behind the tow truck there, and the other one's probably on its way around to try and pick up the Tavano car out of the gravel trap.
If you just joined us, where on earth have you been? An exciting qualifying session, and we will be live for the warm-up tomorrow morning, and that on British time will be at some 8 o'clock, and European time it'll be at 9 o'clock. So we'll be back later on one of the Eurosport channels with more racing. Today we've got 3000 and GT racing, and they'll be going a little faster than Augusto Farfus is doing there. But don't forget, we've got a whole weekend of exciting sport. From David Leslie and me, Tony Delahunty, speak to you soon.